Well, hello and welcome to Module 3, Session 18 of the 20 sessions in Overcoming Obstacles. We're going to wrap up today with a summary and reflection of Module 3. So it's sessions 15, 16, and 17. Now, if you didn't go through those, don't take this as oh, I can just do this review and I'm done. You really want to go back because I'm not going to go through in detail all the things we did in 15, 16, and 17. That'd take us another, couple of hours. So we're just going to go through kind of just a summary and reflection for those of you who have gone through it, so you can kind of pick up and be sure that you got everything that you need to pick up in those. So I'm going to back out of the way. We're going to make this screen bigger, but always, any of this stuff, if you ever need me, just reach out to me at a2bforme.info/15 with Don, and we can do a little 15-minute strategy session with you and kind of get you on track with whatever it is that you need to keep you moving in the direction of your dreams. So anyway, I'm gonna hop out of here, and then we'll see you on the back side here. But let's get rolling with this summary and reflection of Module 3. Well, Module 3 starts off with a comparison, if you remember, of grit versus talent. And we ask the question, which one is more important in helping you to achieve your goals? And of course, our result was always it's grit or perseverance, and that is really what gets you through. And again, for those of you who know me and been around me, you know that perseverance is just one of my absolute favorite attributes in life, and one of the really the core values that I think you really just got to have in your life. It's just that willing to just to be persistent and hang in there and make it happen. So it's always grit over talent, and so we kind of went through that. And if you didn't get through session 15, go back and grab that, because that's really where we talk a lot about this. But talent determines the upper limit of how far you go. So when we talked about talent, that's what we talked about. If you need to be in the upper echelon of things, then it's talent. We talked about being at the top of the game of being a concert pianist, or at the top of your game in your tennis game, or whatever it is. You really talent really does help there, because you got to have that maybe that just that God-given talent, something you were born with to help you get into the upper echelon. But for most goals in your life, perseverance is what's going to get you where you want to go. It's a simple roadmap, and again, a lot of it's patience. Just hanging in there and then getting on that dream road. But it's hard work, of course. But perseverance is really where you need to be. That's really sometimes the hard work just doesn't quite get you there, but it's that perseverance just to keep on going that's going to get you to success. And the neat thing about it is, anyone can develop persistence. Anyone. It doesn't matter what your talent level is. Anyone can develop a persistence. It's just a matter of practice until it becomes a habit. And it's like anything else we talk about here at A to B for me. You got to start out with thoughts, actions, and then get the habit set. Yeah, and persistence is nothing more than really just the mental process of hanging in there and hanging tough, and also having someone here to support you in many cases to get you through this and help you understand, hey, you were right there. Don't give up yet, right? So it's a matter of getting your subconscious on board, letting the conscious and the subconscious work together to keep this thing rolling. Reviewing your goals on a daily basis, and knowing what your why is, and getting out there. And we're going to talk about a lot of these things here in a little bit, but it's just a matter of practice. And the more you practice it, the easier it's going to get, and then it will become a habit, and then persistence will just be a thing. It'll just be one of those things that your subconscious just says, hey, no, we're the type of person that keeps on rolling until the thing is finished. So it's just another habit that we need to develop. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to have a lot of talent, but you do have to have a lot of persistence to make things happen in your life. All right, well, the ability to persist during any challenge is the key to your long-term success, because you want to finish what you started. That's what we got to get, that habit of I always finish what I start. Because even though you have a great desire to achieve your goal, The difficulty level or time required could make you want to give up. And that's just what it is. You get out there and oh, yeah, I really would love to have that. I really want to be that person. I really want to do those things. But doggone, this is tough. I didn't realize it was going to be this tough, or I don't have enough time anymore, right? So, but you have to get out there and say, hey, how do I make this happen? Because I really do want it. Well, these are the techniques that we talked about. So let's just go through those real quick. The techniques to complete what you started. And that's what we want you to do. And the first one is you have to visualize the expected result. And all these, this recap here on this section, I always have this mountain climber here because, man, that's one of the things that's really tough. You get up there, if you've ever done that before, it is very difficult. My son does this, and I'm a big guy, and I just never had developed the finger strength to be able to do this, or really not even having a desire to go straight up something. I don't mind belaying, but climbing is a totally different thing. But you have to visualize the expected result, and no matter what it is, you have to always keep it in top of mind, and that's really where the Phoenix Journal comes in. And I know I harp on that a lot, but that's just something you need to get. And if you don't have it, go up to a2bforme.com /store and get over to Amazon and get you one. But you just have to visualize the expected result. And that's not going to happen if you don't consistently review your goals, have affirmations, and these types of things to keep it top of mind. You've got to be consistent. It's got to be in your plan every day, your key productive indicators, your key action. You have to do your weekly accountability meetings to make sure that you're clicking off a high percentage of your key productive indicators and key actions to make this thing happen so that you're moving on down the road. And then notice what you've done so far. And that's another part of weekly accountability. And one of the reasons why we do it here at A to B for Me, as part of our program, is we want to review that with you every week and want you to get in the habit of reviewing it yourself. But notice what you've done so far, and look where you started and where you're at now, and make the subconscious take note to the fact that we're making progress, because you want to maintain a positive outlook. And you're not going to be able to do that unless you're seeing some results, and if you're being consistent and all these things. So you want to be sure you maintain a positive outlook, and it's real easy to get down on yourself if you're not doing anything, right? So be sure that you're going back and reviewing the progress that you have made, so that you get credit for that, and it'll give you some motivation to move on. And we talk about this at the very beginning of just about everything that we do here at A to B for Me, is you got to have realistic expectations. So when you look at your dreams and your goals and what you want in life, are you having realistic expectations, or is this some pipe dream? Is it somebody else's dream? Are you equipped for this? Is it something that you really, really, really want yourself? What tools are you going to need? What talents are you going to need? And if you don't have those talents, what are you going to utilize to replace the lack of those talents? So be sure you have realistic expectations, because that'll kill the deal right then and there. Because if you don't have realistic expectations, you're not going to be consistent. You're not going to be able to go back and see what you've done, because you're just unable to do it, and that's going to be impossible to maintain a positive outlook. So you really, really have to start the thing out with realistic expectations, and that might be part of your issue right there. You have to make a vow to finish. And these is part of your affirmations, that I am a finisher. But you have to make a contract with yourself. We talked about even just writing one out, right? At the beginning of the Phoenix Journal, there's a contract there that I sign up every 12 weeks in my program for myself, that I'm going to utilize my time properly, and I'm going to make things happen in my life. And so I sign that thing, and you need to sign that for yourself, but make a vow to finish. Maybe you need to sign a contract with a family member, maybe a business partner, something, some type of accountability here that you've got on yourself to make this thing happen. And then recognize when you must tweak your results. When you're going up the side of the mountain, you go in one direction, all of a sudden you realize, man, there is not a foothold here. There's not a really handhold that I really want to feel like doing. So I'm going to have to do something different. So you might have to either jump to the other side, or you're going to have to go back down and go a different route. But you may need to tweak your results no matter where you're at. It doesn't mean you need to quit. You just need to look at what you've been doing and saying, okay, well, my key productive indicator percentage is down. It's been down. I'm not really making progress, so I'm going to have to tweak some things. I got to get some different actions, some different advertising, some different social media, something. I've got to do something different. I got to bring in some extra money somewhere. So maybe you got to go out and do something different to get some extra money in to make some of your goals work. But whatever it is, be willing to tweak it. And the best way to understand that you need to tweak is again, to have a coach or a mentor that you can bounce this stuff off of. And then you always want to divide those large goals into mini goals. You got this big old elephant out here and you're trying to eat this thing. Well, you got to eat it one bite at a time. And so you need to subdivide it. And that's the only way you're going to be able to go back and look and see that you've made progress sometimes, is divide it into mini goals. So if you got a 12-week goal, you want to break that into 1-week segments, right? At minimally 4-week segments, so that you can say, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do this is my first check on progress is going to be 4 weeks of the 12 weeks. So get it out there and make sure that you're getting there, and then break that 4-week down to 1 week, so that you've got some manageable goals and a way to manage your actions. And then practice finishing the small tasks in your life. A lot of times it's just the little things that your subconscious picks up on. And some of the little things in life are just being messy, having a messy office, having a messy car, having just junk around you all the time, and it really does affect you. So try just finishing some of the small things in your life and getting the clutter away from you, so that you can really just concentrate on the big stuff, because you may not think that you're being distracted, but you are. I guarantee you are. So be sure that you practice finishing the small tasks in your life, because then your subconscious is going to say, okay, well, we got the little stuff done. We've been doing that. We're getting some success there, so I think we can take on this other thing, right? And then you want to avoid underestimating the time it will take to finish. And this kills a lot of dreams right there. This is the one thing that can really just end it for you, is you're saying, well, you put an unexpected time limit on this thing. And you're saying, well, yeah. And everybody around you is going, hey, no way you're going to get that done at that point in time. And it's just a matter, again, in the planning and at the very beginning. Did you have a timeline that made sense? It was going to allow you to be successful. So now I'm not saying don't have stretch goals. You want to have stretch goals. You don't want to make something so damn easy that it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you have no accomplishment there. You want to have stretch goals, but you don't want to underestimate the time it's going to take to finish. So just lay them out there. If you can't get it done in 12-week time frame, then figure out where you're going to be in 12 weeks. So at least you've got a proper estimation of where you're going to be at that particular point in time. So don't underestimate the time it's going to take to finish. And lastly, if you want to quit, if you just fed up with it, then you got to consider your reasons. You might have a very good reason for wanting to stop pursuing the goal. I mean, maybe you were in a relationship and that thing's done, and that was the whole basis of your reason to do what you wanted to do. So hey, that might be a good enough reason. But you got to, whatever it is, I mean, but most of the time it's not based on some type of relationship, unless it's a business relationship. But if you want to quit, you got to consider your reasons. And so we got some strategies that we went over in session 16 and 17 to keep yourself from quitting prematurely. So let's look at some of those real quick. Again, you got don't quit or do it. And do it can either mean to you do it, quit, or just do it, period, right? So, but you have to give yourself time to make a wise decision. Don't just jump into and make an emotional decision. Oh my God, I burned, I crashed and burned. I'm embarrassed. Everybody's been watching me. I told everybody about this, what I was going to do. I didn't get it done. I want to save face. I'm just not going to do this anymore. Well, give yourself time to make a wise decision and get the ducks in a row. Again, this is where tweaking comes in. You may just need to tweak. So give yourself a little time to make a wise decision. I mean, if you got all your marketing set up, you got your website set up, you got all this stuff happening, and, or whatever it is, you set up all these relationships, don't just burn them. Let's give ourselves a little time. Nothing says you can't just take three deeps and take a month off or something. But let's think about this before we make a rash decision, and then view the situation objectively. You may need to get someone to help you do that because a lot of times you're way too close to it. You're just in the deep end of the pool, and you are just let me get this out of here. You are just going nuts, and you just don't want to deal with it anymore. You just want out. You get me a life preserver and get me out of here. Well, you want to view the situation objectively. So be sure that you are able to do that. And again, it's usually someone else that can help you because they're not knee deep in it. They're not up to their neck in it, and they can look at it and give you a different perspective. And then think long term. Okay, well, yeah, I want to quit this. Well, then, if you quit this, is that part of something that was part of your long term plan? Was that part of your destiny plan? Was that part of really who you are and what and who you wanted to be? What's your legacy? So thinking long term, how is this quitting this going to affect me in the long term? And then ask yourself if a new approach is warranted. Again, that might just be a tweak. Maybe I just been doing it wrong. And again, a lot of times you're doing it wrong because you didn't ask anybody else's opinion or seek anybody else's help. Or maybe it's just not your time yet. Maybe the timing was just wrong. So get back, find someone that you can talk to, get an objective look at it, and maybe you just need a new approach to it other than just quitting. Then ask yourself why you're considering quitting. That's part of the objective reasoning. So get a pen, piece of paper, and start writing down the reasons why you're considering quitting. The old Ben Franklin close. Put a line down the middle and all the reasons why you're considering quitting, and then on the other side, all the reasons why you shouldn't quit, and see how that all stacks up for yourself. Could there be another solution instead of quitting? So is it something that you just need some more talent? Maybe you need to grab a partner. Maybe you need someone else's assistance. So could there be another solution instead of quitting? And then reflect on the times you've given up in the past on different projects. And this is where you really have to be honest with yourself and look at what did I give up on before, and do I regret that? Or is that a great decision? So reflect on the times you've given up in the past. I know you don't want to think about failures a lot, but you have to. I mean, failures are nothing more than just education. They're something that didn't work, and so you got that out of the way. So figure out how it can work. But reflect on the times you've given up in the past and see if that was a great decision and what the situation was back then, and maybe you can correlate that to now and see if you can use that for a basis of objectivity. And then sometimes you just need to forge on. And that's a lot of times what you'll just figure out. Well, no, it's just, I just got to hang in here. It's just a matter of time. This thing will work. I have time. I can do some other things. And then just and keep this rolling. But sometimes you'll figure out that you just need to keep on going. So it's just a matter of persistence. Now, the three P's we talk about a lot are patience, practice, and perseverance. Perseverance is a major trait of those who are successful. We know that. I mean, a lot of folks, you sit there and say, man, this guy, he's a he's an overnight success. Well, no, he wasn't. He's been persistent and patient, and he's been practicing for 10 years. All of a sudden, it worked, and now that perseverance paid off, and he's successful. But if you give up every time you face obstacles, you're going to struggle to achieve all your goals. It's just going to happen. The subconscious is going to say, look, every time we face some little bitty damn thing, you're giving up. So I don't have any faith in you. And so your subconscious is going to take over. And sooner or later, you're going to be done. I mean, anything you want to do, your subconscious is going to say, nah, we're not going there, because that, remember how that felt? How we got all pumped up and all excited and everybody, and then we got embarrassed because we couldn't get it done. But you just got to learn to hang in there longer. And if you give up on every time you face an obstacle, then you're going to struggle to really achieve any goal. But take the time to practice persistence. Again, it's just a habit. You got to practice it. And I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did. So on the road to success, just continually think about patience, practice, and perseverance, and that's going to help you get through. All right, well, let's do a little self-reflection. Got the old Winnie the Pooh here again. Self-reflection questions for this module. Number one, I want you to think back to a time when you persisted in a goal despite the challenges. So there are challenges out there, but you persisted anyway. And how did this success make you feel? And what did you learn from the experience? So when you go back and look at the things that you filled out, well, let's turn that around and make that positive. And let's think back when you persisted in a goal and you had challenges, and that feeling that you had. And let's let the subconscious reabsorb those great feelings. And then what did you learn from the experience? Because you might be able to apply that to your next challenge. Number two, let's consider a time when you caved into your challenges and gave up, right? So let's go to the opposite spectrum. Why did you decide to quit, and what did you learn from that experience? So let's go the opposite end of it, and let's, again, think about, like we talked about a minute ago, one where you caved in on the challenge and gave up. And again, why did you decide to quit, and what did you learn from it? Because we want to learn from our failing experiences. We don't want to just, harp on them and just worry about them, but let's learn from them and make them turn those negatives into positive for the next experience. And number three, think of the unpleasant tasks you need to do in your job or around the house, and pick some of the smaller tasks to stop putting off so you can practice perseverance each day. Because remember, perseverance is a habit. So these unpleasant tasks that you got, let's start again. Let's take them down and let's break them into mini goals, and let's pick some of the smaller tasks to stop putting off so you can practice perseverance each day to get these things done. One of the things I just absolutely abhor doing is painting. I just don't enjoy it. I mean, getting all the stuff out, you got to mess, you got to smell, and you got to sand, you got all this stuff. So that's a contractor job as far as I'm concerned. But there are some unpleasant tasks that you need to do around the house or at your job. So let's break that thing down. Let's just start knocking out the mini goals so that you can practice persevering each day and get yourself a track record of success. So get that thing going for you. Number four, are you thinking of quitting one of your goals right now? And so let's go back and let's look at these strategies that you learned in the module and reconsider. Perhaps you need again, tweak. You need to adjust your approach. So think of a goal. There might be a perfect time for you to readjust and look at where you're at. Maybe you do need to quit. Maybe you need to stop that one and concentrate on some of the others. But follow the strategies you learn in this model and see if it really is something you need to quit or if you just need to forge on. And five, sometimes if our desire to continue pursuing our goals seems to be waning, a major reason is that we don't give ourselves time to devote to working toward our goal. So you got too many goals maybe at one time, and you don't have any time to work on it. So that's why you give up on it. And there just doesn't seem to be enough hours in the day. So you got to look at, is your schedule too full to fit in working toward what's most important to you? So you got to sit back and we got to reevaluate. What can you reduce or eliminate to make room to pursue the life you desire? A lot of times you just have too many things going. Everybody everybody's trying to be a 10 in all the areas of their life, and you just can't be. You got to set reasonable expectations and reasonable time restraints for these things, because you just can't. If you're so busy doing everything, you're not going to get anything done. So let's look at what you've got every week. Like I said, we have 4 different goal areas we could look at in our program, but I really try and knock that down to 2 and just get your 2 big ones, and one of those that need to get done, because you just can't get enough key productive indicator percentages on 7 or 8 different goals to make any progress. So let's get it down, and let's get a timeline of what we need to do first, and what's most important, and how can we get these things lined up. So let's look at, again, a lot of it's based just on affirmations and perseverance and getting through this thing. So we got some affirmations for you for this week. I persevere when life challenges me. I persist until I succeed, and my persistence pays off. And we've got those for you out in the resources section at the A to B for Me community. And for those of you who aren't in the community, just reach out to me. We can get a copy of these for you. And each week I go through these. I'm going to go through them today because I got 3 of them. But I persevere when life challenges me is a really good one, because what it talks about is, how do I react when life presents me with a challenge? And what did I do to make it through a recent obstacle? And what are some steps I can take to ensure that I navigate future challenging events successfully? So these are self-reflection questions that we're going to go over in the group. So we'll be sure and go through this affirmation if you need that one. There's another one: I persist until I succeed. Again, the reason why I give you so many of them is because you can modify these and make them really customized to yourself, or sometimes they're just perfect. You just need to go ahead and just use them. So there's no shame in just taking an affirmation and using it, because that's what they're here for. But this one, basically, the self-reflection would be, when I have shown great persistence and experience a high level of success. When have I done that? And what can I do to stay persistent during challenging times? And what are my goals? And how have I been working towards them? So these are things that we'll chat about based on this affirmation here. And then my persistence pays off is one of my favorite ones, because perseverance is a choice I make each day, and I succeed because I'm going to persist. That's really how this is, the tone of this one. And as we get to the bottom of it in our self-reflection, we're looking at what is the relationship between success and perseverance, and then how does my faith help me to persevere? And we talk, again, in our one-on-ones, we do talk a lot about faith here at A to B for Me, because there are God-given talents, and those are really the ones that you need to seek out, and those are really the ones that you should utilize in your life. But what is one important thing I would have missed out on if I quit too soon? And those are some things, when you go back and do your reviews of your decisions to fail, and then the ones that you just work through, what would you have missed if you quit too soon? So you want to go through and do these self-reflection questions. And then also in the resources section, we got our module 3 quiz. So it's just basic. That's just what it is. It's just a quiz to help you get through it, and we'll be going over that with you too at our next strategy session. So for those of you that are in the group, I got the answer key for you too. It's just like high school. Answers are in the back of the book. But go ahead and go through that quiz, so you be sure that you really got everything that you need to get out of this module itself. Okay? All right. And then there's the quiz, so it's in there to do that. And then up next, what we've got is module 4. And it's really, as you might think, we've been building this thing up. It's just been building up to crescendo to module 4, where we're going to write your own success story. So really, the next 2 sessions, 19 or 20, are really more of workshop format, where you're going to write your own success story. We've been building up to this, but in 2 sessions, we're going to create a detailed picture of the future, living the successful life you've always dreamed of. So it's time to put all this stuff into practice. We hadn't been going through 18 weeks of this just for the fun of it. It's all been for a reason, and it's a great time to get this thing done because you'll show the actions you'll take to overcome your obstacles and reach your goals. So we're going to get this all planned out for you, and you'll be going in to the next year or the next segment of your year, and really have a good plan for yourself because you're going to be able to write that success story for yourself. Well, all right. Well, I'm gonna hop back in here real quick and say goodbye to you. Well, that was big, right? Well, hey, you got me big now. But let me back out a little bit. That might be too much of me for you. But I did want to go through the situation here with YouTube, Anchor FM, and Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Because if you haven't gone through all the modules, reach out to any of those mediums for yourself. Go up to the YouTube channel, A to B for me, and subscribe so you not only can get access to all the ones that we have, but get all the new ones coming up. You'll get a notice of when they're coming up, and you can get them live. But get up there. We got a whole section on overcoming obstacles, so you can go back and start reviewing those. And Anchor FM, you can hop up and you can listen to these things, plus our weekly challenge and our is on Anchor FM, as well as our Thrive Thursdays. So hop up there. And then, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we're all over that. So just go up there and go ahead and get hooked up with those as well, because we want you to keep moving in the direction of your dreams. And the best way to do that is to stay plugged in. And again, if you need to schedule a one-on-one strategy session, just hop up to a2bforme.info/15 with Don. Then you will get a calendar that you can find out when we can hook up together. That way we're not going back and forth on some email for 18 times to find a time. You can just say, hey, I can do it then. He can do it then. Let's do it. And then you will get 4 questions that pop up that we want you to review and be ready to discuss during our strategy session. And that'll just make it more productive for us, and then we can figure out where we need to go from there. And then anything else you want to go up to, just go up and look at A2Bforme.com and look at the different programs. Maybe it's Deep Dive to Destiny. Maybe it's 84 Days. One of those up there, and see what we can do to help you to keep moving in the direction of your dreams, because that's what we're here all about. But have an awesome week. Thank you for attending. We have a Thrive Thursday coming up here tomorrow, so you want to be sure and catch that. Each week we do that with Mr. Atomic Habit himself, James Clear. So he's got 3 ideas, 2 questions, 2 quotes, and 1 question for the week that we like to ponder each and every week. So check in with us for that, but have a great week, and we'll see you next week for Module 19.